Hey everybody, this is TJR.
And this is Robert Kinsler.
And Robert, very soon, I am going to be going on a road trip. I have not been on a real vacation in many, many years. I'm going to travel throughout the country, and I'm going to see some national parks.
Great. I just got back from Yosemite, so definitely you want to do that.
I've been to Yosemite, but I'm going to go see some national parks I've never seen before.
Great.
And this got me thinking about road trip music. And I thought I'd talk to you and ask you about some of your favorite road trip music. And I thought maybe we'd also ask our viewers about road trip music too. Those that have gone on road trips and what they might recommend.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess as I think about this, you know, there's two kinds of road trips. There's the road trips where just adults go on a road trip, which is what I'm going to be going on.
Right.
But then there's family road trips.
Right. Very different, isn't it?
Yeah, very
different. Yeah.
And it's kind of different, kind of the music you might choose and the songs you might do. I think with family road trips, you tend to go with sing-alongs more than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
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 And
whereas
when it's adults, it might be a different experience. But let's go ahead. But just tell me any recommendations you want to make for me.
Almost countless. But when you say I'm on an extended road trip, let's say going,
let's say a week.
Yeah, like a week, and I'm going through nice places where there's not a traffic light every 3 minutes, like there tends to be in Southern California, or actually, should I say, or about every minute, right?
Yeah.
But one band and one album that always comes to mind is "L.A. Woman" by The Doors. That album, that is just great. Great road trip music. Love that. There's just a real sense of freedom, about that album, and it really conjures up the thing and I brought that album, I think you got the 40th anniversary version, and then I went out and purchased that. I think you had talked about it, and boy, that's an album that I have enjoyed on a few road trips.
That's a good one, because first of all, just the album is great, but secondly, you get that second version of the album, where it's earlier takes.
Yeah,
and you get to kind of explore that, and being on the course of the road trip gives you a chance to explore that.
Yeah, to delve in a little bit more to a longer album, and because many people are still doing obviously albums that are cohesive, the songs tie in together. But back in the late '60s, '70s, and The Doors, I think, released that album or recorded it in 1970 or '71, as I recall. They were definitely, I think, thinking thematically about this. How the songs tie together. Yeah. And it really works, and it sure works when you're driving down the road.
And you've got a long drive.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah.
I think one of my favorites that I always want to point out is Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. Once again, I think for a lot of the same reasons, even though it's not a concept album in any way, shape, or form, there is a flow to each side of that, all four sides of that album. I think each side kind of has its beginning, middle, and end. Okay. And the final album, side 2, closes with harmony. And I think
that's a good song. Yeah.
And I mean, side 1 closes with Benny and the Jets. And but I think even now in the age of CDs, of course, in the age of digital, where you don't have sides anymore, those of us that grew up with album sides can kind of fill that in. I recommended this album to one of my nephews. He had not really heard much of Elton John, and I said, here's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, because whenever there's a family gathering, like Thanksgiving or something like that, he has a long drive back to his place. And so I said, here, listen to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road on your trip home. And since then, he said, every time I have a long drive, I put that album in. That's great. It just makes the drive so much shorter, and he loves the album now. He says to me, and he's into like hard metal. He's into really hardcore metal. But he says he says to me, Uncle Tim, it's so timeless sounding. It's so timeless sounding. He loves the album. And so it's just cool to hear that. And I told him, I said, because he hadn't been that into Elton John, I said a lot of rockers love Elton John. I said, a lot, you got Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses, who names him as a huge influence. I've heard so many people like Zakk Wylde, loves Elton John. So many rockers have talked about Elton John,
Yeah.
and he reacted kind of the same way. He said,
Yeah.
yeah. He says, there's just something really timeless about the way it sounds. But anyways, though.
And I haven't listened to that on a road trip. I mean, I know the album, but I need to do that. Another album that came to mind too is AC/DC's Back in Black.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's just it's just such a powerful. I mean, such a big sound to that album, and and just obviously huge crunchy riffs, and
it keeps you awake.
Yeah, it definitely keeps you, and that's just a good one to crank up when you're on the road. On a road trip, probably especially maybe if you're traveling on your own. But I think if you're with another fan that loves them too, that's a great road album. I don't know what you think of that one.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that one.
Yeah,
I'm going to put that one down on the list.
Yeah,
because we're going to be driving a lot, and there's going to be a lot of times when I'm going to be at the wheel. And I know my other half is going to be passed out.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be.
Yeah, you may not want to crank up AC/DC if they're trying to get in a road nap.
Well, we'll see. But at any rate, though, but yeah, definitely if you're because I know there's going to be some times when we're like burning the midnight oil, and we're going to be driving late.
Yeah.
And definitely want something to kind of the musical equivalent of caffeine.
Yeah, exactly.
To keep me going.
Yeah.
So definitely a good choice. Now let's talk about family road trips, because sometimes you're there with a family. And I think that's when it's more like the sing-along music.
Yeah.
Anything you'd recommend?
Well, I don't have any kids or anything, but I'm wondering, do you think the
Did you
Beatles
go
or
on
the
road
Monkees?
trips?
When I was growing up, we did, but I think back then it was like AM radio or something. With my family.
True, you couldn't choose what you listened to.
But I can tell you, my parents were huge. I mean, they got me into the Beatles, but they love the Beatles. I'm thinking even an album like Meet the Beatles would be great for a family. These are just fun. Great songs with really catchy and infectious choruses, but are you thinking something even more for the toddlers, the young set?
No, well, I would think songs with really catchy choruses that are good sing-alongs. In fact, thinking of the Beatles, I would say like Obla Di Obla Da,
exactly,
songs like that,
or Yellow Submarine or something like that.
Yellow Submarine.
Yeah.
I would think songs like Bad Bad Leroy Brown, where you've
like
just got these choruses that are just very big and obvious. Bad Leroy Brown, it's just everybody kind of just knows, has heard that somewhere along the way.
Exactly.
And those are just really catchy choruses.
Yeah.
But I would think songs like that. I don't know if anybody really, does you think anybody still does like sing-alongs like 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall? Do you think anybody does that anymore?
I don't even know, Been a long time since I've been to camp. So
let's just ask the viewers, does anybody still do that? Are there equivalents of that if you have kids and you've gone on road trips? Do you do any songs like that? 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall, Bingo.
Yeah.
I remember those as kids.
And I do too. Those were fun. Yeah, exactly.
I can even remember a few school field trips where we're all on the bus. And I can remember some song, there were a few times when we all did start to do 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall.
That's funny.
I can remember that,
I do too. And it's funny, I have a similar memory as well. Like that song would come up, and almost like people just trying to do it just to like, so that they can sing louder than the kids next to them and stuff. Just almost out of obnoxiousness. But it was fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's fun.
Good times.
But I would think songs like that, where you've got these big choruses, would be good ones to do.
Yeah.
Of course, what I wouldn't recommend is that you do the original unedited version of 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall, which is 999,000 bottles of beer on the wall. I wouldn't recommend that at all.
No,
I think it would be very dangerous to do.
Yeah.
You might,
go crazy,
lose your mind.
Especially if you're the driver, that could be a bad thing.
You might all end up. He might try to commit suicide, and we don't want to do that. Okay,
no.
So, anyways, though, but let us know what you think. Tell us what some of your favorite road trip albums are, and I'm serious because I'm making a list and I'm checking it twice. But tell us some of your favorite road trip albums, favorite road trip playlists if you have them, songs. And because seriously, I'm seriously gonna be collecting these because we're gonna be on a trip it's gonna be a week.
Wow.
We're doing a lot of driving.
A lot of driving over the course of a week. Yeah.
And so this is definitely a time to be checking out music, playing a bunch of stuff, and hopefully playing your suggestions too. So everybody, till next time, I'm TJR.
And I'm Robert Kinsler.
We're looking forward to your suggestions.
See you later, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
And this might be the most obvious, group to think about when you're on the road.
Yeah.
The Cars.
Seriously?
Great, the first album, and then also Heartbeat City. Those are probably two of the greatest albums to play on a road trip that I can imagine.
I can picture that now. That's a great idea. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.